Alright guys, welcome back. I just got dropped off and I'm out here hiking into the woods out here in North Houston for a solo overnighter. I grew up in these woods. I know them better than just about anyone, but the spot I'm planning on camping at is about half a mile from where I am right now, maybe a little bit more. So, got a bit of a hike for me, and I'm loaded up, as you can see. But I'm gonna be doing pretty much just some survival pack stuff like that. And my axe is bothering me a little bit. Might need to move that, but pretty set up. Should be good. I'll be going over what I got in my bag and everything that pretty much the bag I got set up is more or less a bug out survival bag. It's a little on the heavy side, but everything that you need. Got a couple things I need to add, but that's interesting. Look at that. Citrus. Wild growing. Don't know what it is. Lemon, lime, or something. Huh. But yeah. Oh look, first survival stuff right here. Can't remember what these are called. Texas berries or something like that. A hatchet or axe. I went with a full-size axe well, semi full-size axe, so you can get some actual chopping force in. And then of course, you know, if you want to use it as a hatchet, you can still hold it at a hatchet length. I use that to kind of clear my area a little bit. Next up, I have a saw. So having a hatchet is great, but this saw will cut most wood faster than a hatchet and with a lot less energy. So, you know, a hatchet was going to last a lot longer, but for short term, this is a better option if you're cutting smaller stuff. Plus, you can be more precise. This is good if you're wanting to actually, you know, build, as opposed to with a hatchet, you know, you're more or less hacking away. So next, I have the basic camping fold-up survival shovel. Now I know there's better ones than this out there, but these are pretty cheap, and this will do the job for what you need. So, and this one here, like the other one, does pack away in a lot tighter space. And as long as you tighten this particular one up, it does hold together very sturdy. Plus, you can use this like a chair. So you can always take it like this, bend only the handle down, and tighten this down. You jam this way far on the ground and you can sit on this. So it tends to be useful, but mostly what I'm going to be doing in this for is for clearing my fire pit, digging my fire pit, stuff like that. I'm not going to be using this for hacking or anything like this. That's what I got the axe for. But next, I have my tent. Now this is a military surplus tent. I got this one here from Sportsman Guide for like 200 bucks, a little under. I have to look exactly. They're hit and miss. Sometimes you have to send them back. Sometimes they don't come with everything. Sometimes they're sticky, stuck together. This one came with empty packs of cigarettes and socks in it. But I sent the first one back because it was stuck together. It was unusable. Kept some of this pole stuff like that. And Sportsman Guide actually sent me a new one before I even sent the old one back. The only reason I didn't send the old one back before I got the new one is because I wanted to make sure this one was good, so I can send them both back in the This one is a little overkill for most of the places I'm going to be camping here in South Texas most of the year. This is a 0-degree rated sleeping bag, and it's a little bit big, but it is fairly light. I did like the fact that it came with a compression bag. You can pack it up real tight, and it makes some, you know, mounting options possible on your bag. I am slightly concerned though about being able to get this thing back in this bag out here in the wild. So we're gonna see how that goes. If not, the way I got this mounted, I could roll up the sleeping bag and still attach it to my bag outside of the case if needed. And like I said, this is rated for 0 degree, so it's a lot colder than what I'm gonna encounter here in South Texas. However, it will be cozy and everything down to our coldest normal temperatures, but it is fluffy enough to where I can lay on top of it, which is probably what I'll be doing tonight. So next, I have your basic stainless steel canteen system. You see that came a little loose and was leaking a little bit, but got my basic canteen system. I did fill this up. Okay, so now let's get into some of the more tools that I have. So, in the bag, I do keep one full-size combat knife. This is actually a bayonet from a AK-47 surplus, but it does mount nicely into my bag on the side. I did bring a headlamp for tonight, just in case. And then I also have a Camillus machete. I looked a good while for a machete that I really liked that was going to work for me, and this was the one that I wanted. The reason I picked this particular one is it has a gut hook, has a good saw on it, I had tested, and it's got a nice thick blade, and it's more of a Tonto design, and it's straight. So this gives me a little bit more packability and work with it. It is full tang, got a nice, you know, molded rubber handle on it. Feels nice and chunky. You could chop with it. But another thing I did like about this one did come with an extra skinny knife inside of it that has a bottle opener, and you can see it's got some Allen key type things on it. None super useful there, but as a bonus knife, it is a nice knife to have in there. So one thing that I do repeat a lot inside of my bag is blades. A blade is your ultimate tool. It's what's going to help you survive the most. Having multiple blades is going to get you there. So, got my machete. So in this bag here, I have more or less random stuff. I bought a solar panel for my phone just to get them to charge, cord, batteries for the GoPro, some clips and stuff, all the clips for all the mounts and stuff like that to make more mounts and stuff on the bag. Nothing too crazy in here, nothing too useful. Actually, a lot of this stuff is probably not needed. Some nuts. Now these here I actually wanted to talk about. I found these on Amazon, and these are clips that actually you can tie them and put them on like a tarp, and you tighten these down. So say if you're wanting to make a tarp shelter, this would be really good for tying it down, because you can not only clip these on your tarp and tie it to trees, but you could also clip it tight to the ground, stretch it out, run stakes through it. These are really useful. I put these in here. I don't have a tarp in my bag yet. I'm planning on adding 2 tarps and a mosquito netting. So I'm still trying to work out this kit. I do want to make it lighter. The hike out here to where I am now was a little over half a mile. It's not impossible to do, but this is still quite a bit of weight to haul out here. And everything on this bag is all MOLLE web, so it's makes it really useful to easily, you know, mount stuff and attach stuff. Now, this bag itself was only like 40 bucks on Amazon, but it does have the nice big zippers. If you're looking for a cheap bag on Amazon to get started with backpacking, this is the one thing I would say I'd really look for, is something with big zippers, MOLLE webbing, and has a you know, waist belt attachment. I wish this one had a chest buckle as well. I might add one later on, but unfortunately it does not. I was going through some of the side pouches. Of course, I have my and this is something you do have to watch with MOLLE webbing, is sometimes these buckles undo. You have to snap them back in place. That comes from handling the bag a lot. And that's something I may change on these, is instead of doing the buckle style for the MOLLE webbing, I might go to more of a permanent attachment system, because these do unsnap pretty regularly, and that could be bad, because if you're hiking through some rough terrain, one of these bags could fall off and you may not ever know where it's at. So in this bag, pretty simple. I am mostly just paracord, which you always want to have in your bag. I am planning on adding some number 36 bank line into my bag, but I just haven't yet. So let me make sure this is aimed down at me. I am wanting to add number 36 bank line. I just haven't added it yet. And this pocket here basics, I have tea lights, those are always useful, and then pain relievers. And I also have a small tape measure in here, which is useful if you're actually going to be doing bushcrafting. So, like I mentioned, not all of this stuff is 100% necessary to have, but a lot of it is useful in many situations, and it's nice to have it. So, in my big pouch here, and this pouch does come off and can be worn like a saddlebag or a fanny pack. Get this to unzip for me. I keep a big bottle of hand sanitizer. Now this is good for cleaning wounds, washing your hands, starting fires. And then I have an additional compass. I have about 3 or 4 different compasses inside of this bag. Simply because sometimes certain things, such as navigational tools, it's good to have extras, just in case you lose it. Now if I turn over to this other side, I have glow sticks, a few more emergency rations, you know, granola bars, and then probably the single most everything laid out. I got a spot dug out for my fire, cleared the leaves. I'm kind of a big believer in using what's around. There's this old barbecue pit that somebody used for target practice. I'm going to use that as a fire shade to put out my fire and to cover my fire when I get ready to go to bed. That way I don't have to worry about, you know, flaring up or anything like that. So, but yeah, earlier I had a really cool guy, you know, stop by. He was out here hiking the woods. He, you know, hiked these woods a bunch. He actually hunts on a property right across of the road, the main road that you can probably hear. And he takes deer out there, good sized bucks every year, bow hunting. So he was just out here on this property, you know, just hiking, you know, killing some time pretty much. And I talked to him for a few minutes, cool dude, showed me some pictures, you know. Few encounters, you know, you run into out here in these areas in the, you know, the wild, you know, in the middle of Houston, you know, better than the encounters you'd run into at the convenience store, you know, a mile away. So, kind of wish I brought my fishing pole. I see some fish jumping out here. He says there's good catfish in this pond, but I don't know. Anyways, I'll see y'all later on when I get to doing my campfire and all that stuff and eating dinner, and I'll talk to y'all later. All right, this is water vine. It grows all over the place down here in South Texas, and if you're looking for water, you're surviving, this stuff is excellent for it. So you can take it, if I can do this. Look at that right there. You can drink it straight out of the vine. Sorry. Say you run out of water, but you have some good water bottles. You can take this, cut one, stick it in your water bottle, and it will drip drinkable water directly into your bottle. Good stuff to keep. I see this is going to be your basic water collection setup for water vine. I see this is going to be your basic water collection setup for water vine. Well, I wasn't planning on using this kit while I was out here, but after evaluating my water consumption, I thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and get a fire going, get the tripod set up, and start boiling some water. Now, I think this whole setup that I got here is about probably 30 bucks max. But as you can see, it's a good little setup. You adjust the height on this pin right here. So you pull up, and then you just wedge the pin into a chain link at the height that you want. So see right there, I got it all the way down, I lowered it. And of course these legs are removable, so you can take off another set of legs and you know, make it shorter if you need to. But it's about, let's see, what time is it now? It's currently about to be 4 o'clock. So I'm starting to get this fire set up, boil water for dinner, and so I can have some drinking water throughout the morning, so I can try not to run out of water. I really don't want to get to my canteen. That's more my backup water. So we're drinking pond water. Woo. That's a little concerning. Signs went, fire truck or police went by and got coyotes yapping. Probably not more than 200 yards behind me. Fun, fun. Well, the night begins. Just hanging out. Got the campfire going. Too bad it's like 80 degrees, otherwise I would have this mesh front off. But the mosquitoes started coming out as soon as it started getting dark. So I had to put it up to keep them getting eaten alive. So it's a little toasty in here, but it's slowly cooling down. So probably keep the fire fed for a couple more hours and then start getting ready for bed. Well, it's a little after 9 and I just had to stoke the fire again because I had to run off a pack of raccoons. That's fun. And the frogs have started back up again. I feel like I'm gonna have to run them things off a couple times tonight. Morning. Not the worst night I've had in a tent. Also not the best night. So I'm gonna make breakfast and then start packing up. Alright. I'm all packed up and on the hike out. Last night was fairly uneventful. Had to run off a pack of raccoons a couple times that were trying to get into the tent, or at least the portion where I had my bag. Then nothing else too crazy. There's some funny noises around the pond. Would have swore I heard something that sounded like a wild hawk piglet got attacked by something. But you know. Oh, and then of course the frogs singing the songs of their people all night. Weirdest thing, they'd go for complete silence, and out of nowhere they'd start again and go for about a half an hour and stop, complete silence, and then a different type of frog singing something else we're doing. Kind of weird, but like I said, I've had worse nights in a tent, I've had better nights in a tent. I think I would have been a lot better off or happier if it wasn't hot all night. If it was cold, I could have cozied up inside of the sleeping bag and probably wouldn't have been as warm, and probably there wouldn't be as much frogs and animals moving around, so it would have been quieter. Then all I would have to listen to is the sounds of Houston in the background. But if I come across anything interesting on the way out, I'll chime in. Back in civilization. A couple more blocks back to base camp. And then I'm gonna have me a cold Dr. Pepper. Haven't had anything to drink. Okay, I don't know what just happened there. My camera died. I turned it back on. I said prepare and file, and then file repaired. New one for me. I need to update this camera anyways, get a new one. I've had this one for a long time. It's a Hero 4. So, anyways, this might end up 2 videos, might end up 1. Depends on what I cut and how it ends up in the edit. But I'll see y'all next time. I'm going to be trying to get back into it, doing the videos. But it's mainly concentrated on gun reviews, stuff like that. But I'll see y'all around. Be sure to come over here and subscribe. And of course you have to hit the little bell, otherwise we won't show up in your notifications each time we post a new video. And check us out on Facebook and give us a like. We post all of our content there as well, as long as some pictures that we take. We keep everyone kind of in the queue along what we're on to. and what we're up to and what we're doing, along with some other posts about some other things that we like. So be sure to check us out on Patreon. We could always use the support. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up, but that stuff kind of isn't cheap, so every little bit of support helps and will help us get out some good content for everyone to see. Don't forget, we're also part of the 1776 militia now, which means I have links to give to you guys to go over to 1776 United and get some great merch. 1776 United is a great apparel company, and they have a lot of jackets, shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, patches, you name it, they've about got it, that has some awesome, really awesome patriotic, American, and even some come and take it style symbols on it. They're real great. I got a hat from them. I plan on getting some more stuff from them. But they have all kinds of stuff. They even have women and youth stuff as well. So stay tuned. Look down in the description. I'll have a link so you can get over to the website. And of course, it helps us. And then sometimes I'll have coupon codes for you as well. So go down to the description and go check out 1776 United.